Part 79. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 791. Wu Yu once again showed a miracle, and now people have become numb to it. In the body of devouring heaven, he gave many people who were interested in him new surprises. In their hearts, Wu Yu has been rising in height, and now he has risen to a very high level. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Wu Yu, who came from a remote place, has so many wonders now. This situation can be said to be rare in 100,000 years. At least so many people present have never heard of it. A young man who has just entered the realm of Yuan Shen waxing can have so many changes. Wu Yu's opponents naturally have another layer of awe for him. Now, they don't seem to dare to be like before, and they are sure that Prince Yuqian will definitely make Wu Yu return in defeat. The exasperated Prince Yuqian did not disappoint everyone. After his last magical power was cracked by Wu Yu and the disaster he caused, he cheered up again no matter how tired he was. This time, he put on the Beiming Zhongshan Shirjitu, and those mountains and rivers seemed to be completely integrated into his skin. He still maintained the state of the ghost Dao Wanming Shenbian, and put on the Beiming Zhongshan Shirjitu. For a while, a huge transformation occurred again. In Wu Yu's eyes, it has turned into a ghost from hell. The whole world has been controlled by it. The surroundings are full of demonic energy. A roar is deafening and creepy. The murderous intent in his eyes has already risen to the extreme state. Just by being glanced at by it, even unrelated people feel as if they have lost half of their lives. At this time, his eyes are firmly locked on Wu Yu's swallowing body. You forced me to do this. Since I can't defeat you, I can only do this. If you die accidentally, it really has nothing to do with me. I can only blame yourself. It's all your fault. To be honest, Wu Yu, I do feel that you are talented and have endless means. There are too many surprising things about you. Your future is limitless. But no matter what, if you compete with our Beiming clan for glory, you are slapping us in the face. We will never allow it. Wu Yu's heaven-swallowing body, just a small test of means, has made him look so embarrassed. In fact, he has been forced into a desperate situation and can only bet everything now. After all, he has used both of his upper spiritual instruments, but he still hasn't been able to defeat Wu Yu. At this moment, Prince Yuqian launched his super burst. When he wrapped the Beiming Zhongshan Shirjitu around himself, he was not afraid of the entire Beiming Empire prison around him. In an instant, the mountains and rivers shook, the sky and the earth collapsed, and everything turned into a purple airflow, crowding towards the body of the Yuqian prince, gathering on him and becoming his power. He held the black sand flowing light giant sword with both hands, and with the ghost Dao Wanming Shenbian body, he gathered two great spiritual instruments, as well as various other powers. The superposition of multiple magical powers and the condensation of one is the ultimate means of the Yuqian prince. He has not used it for many years. At this time, the Yuqian prince rose to a new height again. Wu Yu's confidence in the devouring heaven body was immediately suppressed again. Now the Yuqian prince once again made the devouring heaven body doubt whether he could withstand the opponent's attack again. If not, the Beiming Emperor K, a Taoist instrument, will soon fly out of his palm, and there are many rewards. So many Dao Yuan Shen pills and achievements can be exchanged for so many things. Both of them had reasons not to lose. There could only be one loser and only one winner, so for the final victory, both of them entered the extreme state, and the Prince Yuqian attacked first. 3,000 small worlds destroying King Sword. With a roar from the Prince Yuqian, he raised the black sand flowing light giant sword, raised it to the highest point, and slashed it fiercely. For a moment, the shadows of layers of worlds appeared in front of the Prince Yuqian, thousands of shadows, each of which was the Beiming Empire, exactly the same, and the shadows of these worlds were all carried on the black sand flowing light giant sword, as if they were built on it. When these worlds were cut down, the 3,000 worlds were shattering and collapsing at a terrifying speed. The terrible thing was that every time a world was shattered and a world fell into chaos, a large amount of destructive power was born and condensed on the black sand flowing light giant sword. In this way, the 3,000 small worlds were destroyed one after another, collapsed and shattered. What was caused was that the extremely terrifying power was all condensed on the upper spiritual weapon of Prince Yuqian. When he slashed this sword at Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body, it was like the arrival of the god of death, much more terrifying than before. The more terrifying destructive power swept over, with a terrifying speed, and there was no possibility of hiding. Under this kind of power, Wu Yu seemed particularly fragile, even his body was involved in this attack. From his perspective, what he saw was that the 3,000 worlds in front of him were broken, and the broken worlds twisted into a chaotic destructive force. Under the guidance of the black sand giant sword, it condensed and gathered into a beam of sword light, and instantly pierced towards Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body. Even Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body had a strong feeling of death at this time. This is not a good sign. Even the heaven-devouring body feels that it may be destroyed. It means that the power of this attack almost exceeds the limit of the heaven-devouring body, or has exceeded it. However, Wu Yu had no other choice. His heaven-devouring body was not his real body. It was impossible for him to escape instantly and jump out of the opponent's control. He could only withstand this kind of attack. If the opponent was very desperate, his desire to devour would be much stronger than the opponent, because this Prince Yuqian angered him, just like a predator angered by prey, and he was already hungry. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. The fighting continued, and the sword energy was magnificent. The sword of Prince Yuqian shocked the 4 seats, and 800,000 people were amazed. In their eyes, it seemed that they had really seen Wu Yu's destruction. At this time, people might feel a little regretful, because Wu Yu's current performance was indeed a classic of this battle. At least Wu Yu had the power to compete with Prince Yuqian slightly. The ultimate battle. Before this sword energy, Wu Yu's long white hair was flying in chaos, and his enchanting face, in the eyes of everyone, still did not change color at all. Those eyes were even more impressive, and the blood color was even richer, as if there was a sea of blood in it. It was unimaginable that his small body actually made a roar like a giant beast, and the roar even covered the voice of Prince Yuqian. This roar alone made the entire Beiming Empire prison tremble, and even reached the Yinhuan Sea prison, making the other participants feel awed. This was not like a human voice at all, but a terrifying beast born locally. In everyone's eyes, the method of the devouring heaven body was very simple. Just like last time, his body changed and spread, and turned into black smoke again. This time, the black smoke was not too big, and condensed into a ball, becoming a black vortex. The black vortex was spinning wildly, and the light, mountains, and trees around could be seen. Everything was attracted by the vortex and involved in it. For a moment, the Beiming Empire prison was indeed caught in a strong tearing, and the vortex became bigger and bigger. In a short time, the area around Wu Yu's devouring heaven body had turned into a blank area. All the mountains, rivers, seas, trees, soil, and even air and light were sucked into it. The whole world was instantly in chaos. This was Wu Yu's extreme ability to show his devouring heaven body, and the changes that occurred. All this was Wu Yu's way of dealing with the opponent's 3,000 small worlds destruction king sword, and it was also his desperate gamble. He had completely forgotten what the talisman was. Now there was only one signal in his eyes, that is, to dissolve the swallowing and kill. The changes between the two actually made people feel that the next step would be even more exciting, and it was indeed not beyond everyone's expectations. When the broken sword energy of the 3,000 small worlds was inserted into the devouring heaven body, the chaos caused the entire Beiming Empire prison to be instantly broken and torn apart. Wu Yu and the Prince Yuqian returned directly to the Sea of Ghosts, but the battle was not over yet. Wu Yu was now using the heaven-devouring body to suppress the opponent's sword energy, while the opponent was relying on this sword energy to tear Wu Yu apart. This sword energy was several times more powerful than the previous Black Sand Hell Void Array. The sword energy exploded into 10,000 swords in Wu Yu's heaven-devouring body, but at this time it was piercing wildly, whistling and sweeping in this heaven-devouring body, piercing through the sky and the earth, tearing Wu Yu in the heaven-devouring body into pieces, and a large amount of sword energy rushed out of the heaven-devouring body and stabbed back again. This actually brought Wu Yu very serious damage. The devouring heaven body was indeed injured, and the body was not truly immortal. So when the chaotic sword energy was fighting everywhere, and his devouring heaven body's devouring control power could not suppress the opponent's magical power all the time, the consumption was a blow to Wu Yu. If it continued to consume like this, his devouring heaven body would become weaker, and it would definitely have to devour again to recover to its current state. After defeating the opponent, Wu Yu was still eager, because in this way, the devouring heaven body could be perfectly controlled by his original body again, but now, the opponent still exerted a terrible fighting power, so Wu Yu had to persist more than him. His devouring heaven body completely entered a crazy state. This was the combination of his own Tao, his spirit and will, and the devouring heaven body's desire to devour. The combination of the two powerful wills gave Wu Yu an undying confidence. No matter how heavy the pressure his heaven-devouring body was under, he would hold on tightly, because as long as he held on, it might be possible that the one who would have to endure this kind of sword energy fight next would not be him. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 792. I don't believe it. What else can you give me back? Prince Yuki is now relaxed. After the explosion of the 3,000 small worlds destruction king sword, although he is very tired now, he just looks at it. Wu Yu still had the strength to suffer. This magical power, used in conjunction with the two spiritual tools, really exhausted his Zifu Yuan Li. Seeing the sword energy flowing freely and flying into the sky, Prince Yuki was very relieved. He seemed to see himself becoming a hero, being cheered by everyone, being valued by the top beings in the empire, and even being valued by his own father. That was his desire since childhood. Now, in the broken prison of the Beiming Empire, he seemed to hear overwhelming laughter, and for a moment he laughed unconsciously. Of course, he also has the ability to laugh. Now that he has returned to the Hell Sea prison, people can see that Wu Yu's sky-devouring body is being consumed by the sharp sword energy. He does not know whether he is alive or dead, but he is walking around the court, relaxed and relaxed. This time the winner was decided immediately, and it was only a matter of time before Wu Yu suffered a tragic defeat or even a tragic death. You are against me, and you don't even know what you are. If you were a barbarian in the demon-sealed continent, you would be where you are today. No matter how magical you are, from today on, you belong to me, and you Wu Yu, haha. Prince Yuki sneered in a deep voice. In fact, for him, the battle was not over yet, because Wu Yu's body had broken through the siege of the sword energy and was watching from a distance. He knew that Wu Yu's clone definitely did not have the means to escape. Therefore, after the clone was destroyed, it would be easy for him to deal with Wu Yu's true body. Just now, he had already tested the abilities of his main body, and there was indeed a huge gap between him and him. As long as Wu Yu didn't escape, he could defeat him at will. Now he is not worried about Wu Yu's escape, because if he escapes, the previous oath will not take effect. So there is no point for Wu Yu to show up today. Now, he and Wu Yu's true body were looking at each other. Wu Yu looked at him coldly. Tit for tat. The suspense is on the black mist of the sky-swallowing body. Now in the shining sword energy, the black smoke is about to dissipate and be completely annihilated. Did it fail? In fact, no, under Wu Yu's insistence, although the sword energy was still against the chaos, at least Wu Yu's sky-swallowing body, in the tragic stalemate, still transformed part of the 3,000 small world sword energy into kill yourself. Sky-swallowing behemoth. Have such ability. Wu Yu's will also has the ability to withstand it. The combination of him and the sky-swallowing beast created this almost immortal body. This time, Prince Yu's attack was too strong. It was impossible for the sky-swallowing body to be completely transformed. However, the current situation is that he only needs to convert half of it, and that is enough. When Prince Yuki laughed at him, Wu Yu had already completed the step with difficult and painful endurance. Change was suddenly born at this moment. The people of the Baiming tribe had smiles on their faces, thinking that this matter was over, but suddenly, something changed. The black vortex of Wu Yu's sky-swallowing body suddenly shrank, then rotated in the opposite direction, and its speed suddenly increased. In an instant, thousands of black sword energies suddenly burst out, at about the same speed as before, targeting Yuqi. Prince, those pitch-black sword energies contain the world of collapse and destruction. They are exploding all the time, but this is no longer the sword energy controlled by Prince Yu. This is just a part of the body that was previously rushed into the body of the devouring heaven. Almost half of it was still raging inside the sky-swallowing body. When Wu Yu gritted his teeth and sent out the transformed sword energy, the remaining sword energy also launched a counter-attack, destroying his empty sky-swallowing body. The body was torn directly into pieces. Boom! Amid everyone's expectations, the black vortex finally dissipated and turned into a black mist that filled the sky, much of which was washed away by the sea water. This was the scene that everyone was looking forward to, but people were even more nervous at this time. What they saw was that before Wu Yu's sky-swallowing body was destroyed, he actually formed a counter-attack, and the scale of this counter-attack exceeded the previous one. Even if only half of the sword energy is more terrifying than the black sand hell void formation. What is even more helpless is that at this time, Prince Yuki was actually the most tired and did not have much resistance at all. Fortunately, he was still in the state of Wanming Shen transformation of the Ghost Dao, otherwise those thousands of sword energy could be destroyed in an instant. If it penetrates his body, he must die. No. Prince Yuki turned pale and exclaimed. At this moment, he could only escape while performing Taoist magic. As soon as he used Taoism to condense a huge jet black shield, the shield was penetrated by thousands of black sword energy. Hooray! At least 1,000 sword energy penetrated his body and took away a lot of blood. Within an instant, Prince Yuki was covered in blood. Prince Yuji's divine transformation disappeared directly, and he returned to his true form, but this time he was dripping with blood and his flesh was pale. He was injured by his own ability, the power of destruction of 3,000 small worlds, now it remains in his body and is constantly shattering within his body. The result is that his body's flesh, blood, muscles, and bones are constantly being destroyed. No matter how good the elixir is, unless the sword energy is completely forced out, there is no way to recover, let alone fight. In other words, Prince Yuki is now seriously injured. There are hundreds of people here, even a few of Wu Yu's tens of thousands of clones, they can probably send him back to the west. Those sword energies were still piercing and collapsing inside his body. Every time they collapsed, his flesh and blood would explode. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Prince Yuki's mind went blank. He was about to cry without tears. He was in a daze. He imagined that he was dreaming, but the severe pain in his body made him tremble, and he knew clearly that this was nothing like a dream. It doesn't matter. Not only here, but also outside it was silent. The Baiming clan stared blankly at the Yuanying with unbearable expressions. They would rather imagine that what they see now is fake than see Yuki. The prince has exerted himself to this extent, and yet he is still defeated. At least Wu Yu still has his true body, but Prince Yuki has been completely defeated by his sky-devouring body. He is now unsteady and has lost his fighting power. After he gets out, he still needs someone to help him quickly to help him drive away those people. 3000 Small Worlds Destruction King Sword. Wu Yu glanced around and saw that these people's pale and unbelievable expressions were indeed very funny. He believed that there were actually many such people. Today, he also exceeded his limits and once again completed an impossible challenge. As he imagined, there was silence outside. There were so many people and there was silence. But immediately there was harsh applause. The one applauding was Chu Yin. He stood up from his seat excitedly and said with emotion, "A genius like this is so talented, interesting. This man is rare to see in 100,000 years. After today, his reputation will spread throughout the world of Yanfu. From now on, Wu Yu will be the #1 in the world. I admire his courage and methods today." People from the Yanhuang ancient kingdom all agreed with him and stood up to applaud. Although the applause was not much, it was indeed harsh. The faces of the Biming tribe were ashen, but they did not say anything to refute. After all, the current situation of Prince Yuji completely shows that Wu Yu has won. He will step on Prince Yuji, rise to a new height, and get 1 million Dao Yuan Shen pills and the dream that countless people desire. Biming Emperor K. Wu Yu's body is not suitable for using a sword with cold attributes like Biming Emperor K, and there is a certain conflict with his Zifu Yuan power and physical power. However, he now has a body that swallows the sky. The sky-swallowing body has no attributes at all, and the sky-swallowing body is like a gathering of power. As long as Wu Yu himself conquers Biming Emperor K and allows the same soul to use the sky-swallowing body, there shouldn't be a big problem. If the sky-swallowing body controls the North Ming Emperor's palace, Wu Yu's future combat power will be even more exciting. In the harsh applause of the people of the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, it was announced that Wu Yu must have won the first place. There is no objection to this. The Biming people finally thought of some consolation. When everyone stared at Wu Yu's body in stunned silence, someone said loudly, "Although Prince Yuki was betrayed by Wu Yu at the last moment and was injured, Wu Yu the loss was even heavier. His clone, which was stronger than his real body, was directly killed by Prince Yu Yi and disappeared. Now Wu Yu is at the level of Duan Yi. This means that Prince Yu Yi destroyed his most important capital. From now on, Wu Yu will be at the level of Duan Yi. Yu is not as brilliant as he is now, and the battle is not over yet. Who says that Prince Yuki can no longer kill Wu Yu's body?" This sentence has been echoed by many people. You're right. Without that clone, Wu Yu is nothing at all. Maybe that clone is Wu Yu's body, and the body we see is the clone. Wu Yu might be dead at this time, and the clone will disappear soon. The winner this time may be Prince Yuki. The people of the Yanhuang ancient kingdom are overjoyed too early. The Biming people spread the news among themselves, and more people believed in this theory. When they finally got some comfort, something happened that made them shut up quickly. They looked at Wu Yu's Yuan Ying Yi. Suddenly, they saw a burst of black mist condensed around Wu Yu. The mist changed, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into Wu Yu with white hair and bloody eyes. This Wu Yu looked a little haggard and his eyes were dim, but he was alive. They guessed wrong. Wu Yu's clone was not dead at all, it only looked injured. This is indeed the case. After being injured, the sky-swallowing body has now returned to a level equivalent to the 8th level of the Yuan Shen realm. The efforts of more than 20 days have been in vain. However, this is just right for Wu Yu. There is no pressure on his body. But for the Biming clan, this is too cruel. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 793. Wu Yu with black hair and black eyes, and Wu Yu with white hair and bloody eyes appeared at the same time, one on the left and one on the right, with the same appearance but completely different temperament and power. For others, it's a visual shock. Of course it's more of a psychological shock. Very cruel. When the Beiming people outside saw Wu Yu with white hair and bloody eyes, they were discussing excitedly, thinking that Prince Yuki had extinguished Wu Yu's hope, but now this change is like a knife that is scratching them hard. Like a heart. No matter how high their realm is, they are still in unspeakable pain and almost want to cry. The people of the Beiming tribe rarely suffered such a heavy blow. The current situation seems to be that Wu Yu has completely defeated Prince Yuji. Prince Yuji's face became even more miserable when he saw Wu Yu's clone reappeared. He couldn't say a word at this time. When Duanyi was defeated, he insulted Duanyi. Now, he felt the same as Duanyi. Bitterness, misery, depression, inner collapse, brokenness, and damage to the Tao are all accumulated in the heart. Perhaps from birth to now, as a prince, he has never suffered such a huge setback. When a barbarian in his eyes defeated him openly and managed to escape intact, everything about him collapsed completely. Yuji. His brothers and sisters, as well as other participants from the Beiming clan around him, all came to his side at this time. Seeing Prince Yuki's current condition, they were actually a little scared. Fortunately, they were not the ones fighting Wu Yu. Otherwise, they would be the same as Prince Yuki now. Among them, only Prince Yu Yang was sure that he would be slightly stronger than Prince Yu Yi, but he also believed that if it were him, his ending would be the same as Prince Yu Yi. He patted Prince Yuki on the shoulder and said, "Don't blame yourself for this. It's the same for everyone. It's not your problem. This person is too evil and difficult to deal with." After this battle, even Prince Yu Yang was actually a little convinced. Everyone else was, for the time being, speechless. "I feel uncomfortable and want to cry." Within the Hell Sea prison, there are still many people fighting against the last crazy demon. Those who gathered here saw that the show here was over, and some of them had already left, leaving behind the top group of people. Wu Yu did not hide the existence of the sky-swallowing body now. He stared at the group of people and said, "The victory or defeat has been decided. According to the agreement, I hope you will abide by your promise. I defeated Prince Yuki, and I am also qualified to win the North, the first in the Underworld War. I hope that you can be honest and agree with the fair outcome. You also know that Dongsheng Shenzhou is my root. Please don't doubt my determination to protect Dongsheng Shenzhou. Don't be a sneaky person, I hope you will remember this." After saying this, there was no need for him to stay here, otherwise it would just make them more embarrassed. Therefore, after finishing speaking, Wu Yu drove the somersault cloud and the sky-swallowing body together and left everyone's sight. This time, no one stopped them, because everyone's mood was greatly affected. If we hadn't joined forces, we wouldn't have been able to stop him. We really wanted to kill him right now, Prince Yu Yang sighed. Yes, the means he possesses are too complete. In this Hell Sea prison, we have to admit that there is really nothing we can do against him unless he takes the initiative to attack us. However, Dongsheng Shenzhou's method has been spread and cannot be used again. Otherwise, we would be too despicable. Wu Yu restricted them to a great extent. One was a poisonous oath, and the other was the eyes of everyone in the world. Because this matter will definitely spread, and then the entire Yanfu world will know that they used this to threaten Wu Yu and prevent Wu Yu from taking first place. If they retaliate later, then their character will be too low. If everyone in the world is condemning this shamelessness, they really have no choice. Wu Yu gave them a huge opportunity today, but they failed to grasp it. Instead, Wu Yu stepped on them to get the upper hand. Now they are so defeated that they are a little convinced. This is not only a physical defeat, but also a psychological defeat. It's really ridiculous. We let such a person win the first place in the Beiming hegemony. We are the sinners of history. We will be laughed at for a long time, right? Gu Hokan said helplessly. Don't worry, if we don't kill him now, the elders outside will definitely not let him go. With the noise he has made now, Sister Yuking alone cannot protect him at all. Wu Yu is now famous, but he will definitely not live long. Yuan Qingshan was still unable to bear it, and she lowered her head and said with tears in her eyes. No matter what, Wu Yu performed amazingly this time, and no one will blame us. Princess Yumei said. She also comforted Prince Yuji. Unfortunately, Prince Yuji lowered his head and said nothing. His current state would not be able to recover in a short time. This is reality and the end. There wasn't much time left on the last day. After Wu Yu left the place of battle, he stayed alone for a while. Not long after, he heard the voice of someone announcing that the battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty was over. In the topmost part of the Hell Sea prison, in the darkness, a light appeared. That light was the place leading to the outside, and it was also the place where Wu Yu and the others came in. After seeing the bright light, everyone must leave as soon as possible. From now on, if you continue to kill demons and get the dead soul net, it will be a violation of the rules and you will be punished. Wu Yu certainly doesn't need to do such a thing. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. He and others went towards the light spot. When they approached the light spot, almost everyone else had arrived. Some people had already gone out. Wu Yu happened to meet the prince and princess. He didn't say much and went out in advance. When he jumped out from the bottom of the water, came out, and landed on the black crystal floor, he saw the sun again. Above his head, he saw the existence of the sun. The fiery eyes had not been illuminated by the sun for a long time, so as soon as he came out, he was madly absorbing the heat of the sun above his head to enrich himself. Let his eyes turn into golden flames for a while. Under the watchful eyes of the public, his swallowing body followed him. At this time, Wu Yu couldn't let him return to the floating life tower, otherwise, he would never let this clone be exposed to the public too much. Come out. Wu Yu squinted his eyes. The sunlight condensed on his eyes was too strong at this time. He couldn't see clearly during this period. He could vaguely see countless seats around him. Most of the 800,000 people were still sitting here. He could vaguely feel that they saw his existence. So, too many eyes were now focused on him. This was too different from when he first entered. At that time, not many people paid attention to him. Now, even if the princes and princesses came out one after another, no one paid attention to them. Most people were still staring at Wu Yu. These were 800,000 top strong men, well-known figures in the Beiming Empire. Few people could come from each mansion, and most of them were from the Mingdu. The eyes of these people were deliberately creating pressure on Wu Yu, so the pressure Wu Yu was under was unprecedented. I made the Beiming clan lose face. Naturally, most of the people in the Beiming clan resented me, so their eyes were full of resentment. If Wu Yu came out defeated this time, he would never have the energy to fight against these eyes. This time he was not defeated, he broke through the limit and defeated Prince Yuqian. This was the time when he was the most energetic. The energy in his heart was extremely strong, nothing could make him afraid at this moment. So, in front of 800,000 eyes focused on him, he only had a tough confrontation. His spirit was as strong as his eyes burning like flames at this moment. Wu Yu looked around and saw a pair of resentful eyes. These people wanted to kill him on the spot. This time his mentality changed a lot, and the whole Beiming hegemony war gave him a huge gain. He defeated Duan Yi and Prince Yuqian in succession. Now he came here and faced so many resentful eyes, but his mind was already strong to the extreme. This strength directly led his realm of Tao to advance by leaps and bounds. Even if millions of people suppress me, I have no regrets and no fear. With my heart, I can break the enemy's soul and make all those who look down on me terrified. This is my Tao. Such an encounter made Wu Yu more immersed in his own Tao. In the vagueness, he had an epiphany. The epiphany made him rise directly to a new realm. Now, he knew very well that this kind of improvement made his soul grow stronger. If it goes as expected, this time the eye contact, the high spirits of the entire Biming hegemony battle, have already made Wu Yu's realm reach a level that can be improved. Now the soul is more solid in the growth of the Tao. I am afraid that as long as he uses the Dao Yuan Shen pill to increase the Purple Palace Yuan Li, his realm can be improved to the second level of the soul realm. At that time, he can quickly approach the Prince Yuqian and his swallowing body can also be more powerful. If these people who looked at Wu Yu with resentment knew that it was their eyes that caused Wu Yu's rebellion and the improvement of his realm, they would probably regret it even more. Wu Yu is now the biggest winner. This moment, he won more. When everyone looked at him with resentment, his Tao was improved to a certain level. He was fearless and had only a firm will at this moment. These resentful eyes, he just thought it was a bit ridiculous. He was a little nervous when he came out, but now he is not nervous at all. In such a scene, no matter how many powerful people there are, they will not let him forget that he is Wu Yu, the descendant of the Monkey King. He won today. He dared to fight against hundreds of thousands of people alone. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 794. Chapter 787, See the light of day again. In a person's life, the more capable a person is, the more shining moments he will have. For Wu Yu, now is such a moment. Those participants who came out in advance using the dark light breaking talisman are now all around him. After they came out, they watched the battle beside Yuan Ying II. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. But even with these thousands of people, the combined brilliance of everyone else is now inferior to Wu Yu himself. Millions of eyes, endless pressure, even after today, will be the attention of the entire Jambu world. At this moment, there was silence in the prison of the undead. After the battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty, it entered a kind of silence. Princess Yuqing came out first, and now she came to Wu Yu's side. In fact, Wu Yu did not clearly explain the plan for the last day to her. She was also shocked to see it outside. Now that she had won a great victory, she was filled with joy, and her nervousness had long since passed. Wu Yu can achieve such an achievement, and her face also shines. Seeing the two of them so close made many people unhappy, especially the young people of the Biming Empire. Of course, there are other ideas. Wu Yu is too dazzling now. Even though Princess Yuqian is from the Biming tribe, if Wu Yu can be convinced to stay in the Biming Empire, she must let Princess Yuxian marry Wu Yu. The Ming royal family can accept it, and so can many people in the northern Ming Empire. After all, Wu Yu is different now. After a silence, Prince Nether Devour finally appeared above everyone's heads. At this moment, he looked solemn, and said, "The time has come. Everyone has come out. Then I also officially announce that this time the battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty will be held. That's it. Next, is the counting of the Dead Soul Yin Network, the announcement of the rankings, and the awarding of prizes. I believe everyone knows that what comes next is the really exciting thing. Although I say this, everyone can actually see it clearly, and the suspense is not very great. However, those prizes can still make many people envious and crazy." Prince Nether Devour could not tell whether he was happy or angry, but his words made some people draw their attention away from Wu Yu and focus on Prince Nether Devour. Before that, according to our agreement with the demons of the Sea of Death, we will first let go of the demons of the sea who have successfully broken the shackles and are qualified to leave in the battle for supremacy in the North Ming dynasty. With the destruction they forced according to the statistics of the Ningguang Talisman, from the beginning to the end of the Biming War, there were a total of 37 demons. They were suffering endlessly, and they had a new life. We will send people specially to send them out of the Biming, so that they can return to death. Opportunities in the spiritual sea. When you come here, you are a prisoner. In fact, the first reason for letting them go is to ensure that in the next Biming battle, the demons in the Hell Sea prison can still have hope, and if they have hope, they will fight tooth and nail. Secondly, Biming has many puppets imprisoned in the Sea of Death. The demons in the sea will use the same method to train the younger generation. This is the only hope for the imprisoned Biming tribe. This is considered an agreement between Biming and the Sea of Necromancer. Therefore, they are still very serious about this matter and do it absolutely well. Today, the demons are escorted to Hangxian City in the far north. Obviously, there will be people on the side of the demons in the sea to welcome their return. These monsters are not far from the participants. Now, they are crying with joy and tears in their eyes. They are reborn. This feeling is so wonderful. The Hell Sea prison is a nightmarish place, and now they have truly escaped. Free. This is how to live. It feels so good to be alive. It has been many years since I felt the spiritual energy outside. This is what cultivation is. The demons, no matter how cold-blooded they were crying at this time. They cried together and felt sorry for each other. Only one demon didn't cry. He stretched out his arms and smiled to feel the surroundings. To the other demons, he was too handsome, so he felt a bit like he stood out from the crowd. This is Nanshan Moon viewing. He enjoys being outside the prison, and now he has a face full of surprise and a smile like the spring breeze. In fact, weaker monsters are more likely to come out, and stronger ones are equipped with many might-breaking light talismans. Even if they are strong, it is really difficult to get dozens or hundreds of might-breaking light talismans, because the participants in the battle there are 1,000 in total, and all of them have genius skills. These sea monsters have completed the restrictions we set for them. You can leave. Zhang Qinjue will escort them to Hangxian City in the far north, Prince Netherbite announced. They will enter a black steel cage and cannot come out for the time being. They will be escorted to Canghai. They will not be released until they leave Biming. Now the demons are happily rushing into the black cage one by one. They are captured by a man named Zhang Qinjue's old man took him away. Of course they won't mess around. They finally got a chance to be reborn. If they mess around at this time and lose their lives or be imprisoned again, it's not worth it. Once inside, they are all very well behaved. No, I can't go in unexpectedly, different voices appeared at this time. At this time, all the other demons entered the black cage, waiting to be transported away, but Nanshan Wanjiao raised his arms and said to the surroundings, it's not the protagonist today, but it has attracted a lot of people's attention at the moment. Get in. The old man who controlled the black cage cursed angrily. He didn't have any patience. Nanshan Wanjiao said quickly, dear and respected cultivators, noble beings of the Biming tribe, please listen to me. I am not a sea monster. I am just an ordinary wild boar in the Biming Empire. I have become a spirit. As a demon, I used to live happily in the mountains and forests, and I have never done anything harmful to the world. I can be considered a member of the Biming Empire, but unfortunately I was caught by the wrong one by the seniors of the Biming tribe and entered the undead prison by mistake. I have experienced so many years of pain, and it is not easy to finally come out today. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. As he spoke, his acting skills were very good, and he burst into tears. Without waiting for Zhang Qinjue's reaction, he continued, I am not a demon in the Sea of Death. If you throw me out, I will be in the prison of the Sea of Ghosts. I have killed many demons in the Sea of Death. They had to cut me into pieces, so throwing me out of Biming actually harmed me. Although I am a demon, I am also a member of Biming. Life is the demon of Biming, and death is the ghost of Biming. Now I finally see the light of day again. I beg you, the noble monks, please let me live. As he spoke, he really burst into tears and knelt on the ground, showing no restraint at all. But it is understandable that this moment is actually very critical for Nanshan Wanjiao. His future depends on this moment, and this is also the reason why he helped Wu Yu. Bold, Zhang Qinjue shouted angrily, not bothering to listen to what he said. The demon is not the key now, not the protagonist. It is just going through a process and will be escorted away immediately. However, Nanshan Wanjiao is stealing the show here, which means not giving him face. Therefore, he directly took action to capture Nanshan Wanjiao. Unexpectedly, Nanshan Wanjiao cried very sadly and said sternly, "It can't be like this, it can never be like this. I wholeheartedly look towards Beiming and regard this place as my hometown. I finally got a chance to survive. I will definitely behave myself. Seniors, don't send me away from Beiming. In order to prove it, I would rather follow a cultivator and work for him. I remember that the demons in Beiming all have such rights. After all, we are not undead. The demons in the sea are so ferocious, I beg you, please let me follow a cultivator." His crying skills are really good, and he successfully stole Wu Yu's scene. Many people are paying attention to him with interest. In fact, Nanshan Wanjiao is really good. Many people have paid attention to him before. Now that he made such a request, Prince Netherphage hesitated for a moment, and then asked, "Who do you want to follow?" In fact, he also thought of Nanshan Wanjiao's talent. If he thought about it carefully, it would be better for such a talented demon to stay in Beiming, so as not to go to the Sea of Death and become a weapon of his sworn enemy, which would be tragic. Therefore, in fact, Nanshan Wanjiao's goal at this time has been mostly achieved. Nanshan Wanjiao spoke with great emotion and said, "I want to follow Princess Yuking, be a competent servant, protect Princess Yuking, and contribute to her. Please promise Princess Yuking, and the little demon will change his ways and return to his rightful ways. You are the Lord." In fact, he was dragged into the Hell Sea prison to make up the numbers, but he couldn't say it directly, otherwise it would appear that Prince Netherbite had not managed it well. Princess Yuking? Her reputation became stronger because of Wu Yu, but no one paid much attention to her in this battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty, but Nanshan Wanjiao mentioned her name again at this time. This was what Wu Yu and Nanshan Wanjiao had discussed. If he told Wu Yu directly, they probably wouldn't agree. It just so happened that Yuking was from the royal family, so he could keep Nanshan Wanjiao and let them study it slowly. When everyone noticed her, Princess Yutong nodded and said, "I met him in the Hell Sea prison, and I know his life experience and pitiful details. I don't know who sent a demon from Beiming to the Hell Sea. It's really not easy for him to get out of prison. Let him follow me from now on. I will teach him well. If he makes any mistakes, I will personally take responsibility and kill him personally." "Thank you, Princess." Nanshan Wanjiao really risked his life, with snot and tears, and the acting was just like the real thing. People looked at each other. In fact, this is a small matter. Even if there are a lot of discussions, Prince Yuki is too lazy to take care of it. Now Yuking said it directly, and he also wanted to find a chance to see what was going on at Nanshan Wanjiao, so he took it upon himself to decide and nodded in agreement. "Okay, you will be Yuking's slave from now on, but in my Beiming, if I know that you have done any bad thing, you will definitely be damned, do you understand?" "I understand. Of course I understand," Nanshan Wanjiao lowered his head and said excitedly. In fact, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He succeeded. Chapter 1 today, I spent a lot of time thinking about it. Chapter 3 tomorrow. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 795. Nanshan Wanjiao finally fulfilled his dream, and he was naturally in a good mood. Of course, he was actually a smart guy. He knew that he was not the protagonist today, so he quickly hid beside Princess Yuxiang and didn't make any noise. From now on, the fewer people paid attention to him, the better it would be for him. From this moment on, he finally had freedom. People watched other sea monsters enter the cage obediently and were taken away by Zhang Qinjue. Next, it was an exciting moment, that is, counting the dead soul yin net. Everyone whose name I read out, take out all the dead soul yin nets. The dead soul yin net, this weapon, must all be returned to the Dead Sea. Under the order of Prince Yushi, the participants whose names were read out quickly stepped forward and took out their gains in the past 6 months. Prince Yushi probably started reading from the lowest strength, so the number of dead soul yin nets obtained by the participants at the beginning was very small, and some were even 0. These were all forced to use the breaking nether light talisman at the beginning. If you want to talk about shame, they are the most shameful. In the past, every battle for dominance in the North Sea was truly thrilling at this moment, because it was impossible for some participants to have all the dead soul nets they obtained noticed, so people outside probably only know a rough number now. Often, there is still a certain suspense in the top 10. However, this time is different, because the biggest suspense, who will be the champion, has been clear since the beginning. Wu Yu's name is also ranked at the front, and Prince Yushi has no intention of putting him at the end. Now the North Sea clan has lost interest. If many people did not want to see the North Sea Imperial Palace, they would probably leave at this time. Wu Yu, a total of 1073 dead soul nets. Finally, Prince Yushi announced with a cold look. When this number came out, looking at the dead soul nets that looked like a small mountain in front of Wu Yu, most of the 800,000 people were still full of depression in their eyes, and of course there was also uncontrollable admiration. At least this number has not been achieved by any participant in many years. Wu Yu is also thanks to Nanshan Wanjiao. Now Nanshan Wanjiao and he smiled at each other. The current success is the success of both of them. About half an hour later, all the data came out. Prince Yu Yang was far behind Wu Yu and got the 2nd place. Prince Yuqian got the 3rd place, Gu Hokan was the 4th, Princess Yuyan was the 5th, Yuan Qingshan was the 6th, Princess Yu was the 7th, Zhang Shangyu was the 8th. Prince Yuying was the 9th. The top 10 were basically taken by these princes, princesses, consorts, and concubines. This is also a symbol of the strength of the Biming royal family. It's a pity that even if they are strong, Wu Yu, who is not from the Biming clan, got the 1st place, which is not considered strong. This Biming hegemony battle not only did not show the strength of the new generation of the Biming Empire, but instead highlighted their incompetence. Therefore, even if they entered the top 10, their faces were very ugly, and they basically lowered their heads and said nothing. There was also Duan Yi not far away. Wu Yu noticed that he was looking at him. When Wu Yu looked at him, he immediately lowered his head and did not dare to look at Wu Yu. This is a symbol of complete defeat. When the data of Prince Yu Yang had been checked, the number of dead souls in the Yin network of thousands of people had been completely released. People could calculate for themselves and know who the top 10 were. In the past, every time this happened, all the Biming people would be very excited, cheering, shouting, and calling the names of these people, but now everyone's eyes were indifferent, and they didn't care about it. They just waited for Prince Yushi to finish the ceremony quickly. Prince Yushi was indeed speeding up. Regarding the treatment of Wu Yu, they needed to think deeply and discuss, but the prize must be awarded at the moment. The 10th place, come and receive the prize. The 9th place. Come and receive the prize. The prizes for the top 10 are all upper spiritual instruments and Datao Yuan Shen Dan, and the number is not small. Among them, the top 3 upper spiritual instruments are even more outstanding. Wu Yu didn't care what kind of spiritual instruments the princes and princesses had obtained, as they already had many top spiritual instruments. He only cared about his own Biming Emperor Palace. Biming Emperor Palace, 1 million Dao Yuan Shen pills, and 500,000 merits. Among them, 500,000 merits are actually much more useful than 1 million Dao Yuan Shen pills, and can be exchanged for a lot of things in the Underworld Sea Core. This is a reward within the Underworld Sea Core. The Underworld Sea Core hopes that someone will make merit, but they don't want Wu Yu to take the first place. The previous spiritual instruments have already made many cultivators in the three disasters asking realm envious. When the Beiming Emperor Palace appeared, there were countless people making noise. People stared at this legendary top spiritual instrument in the Beiming Empire. This is also the desire of Prince Yu Yang and others, so when the Beiming Emperor Palace appeared, they also stared at it with wide eyes. The spiritual instruments they just obtained were neglected by them. Basically, every one of the top 10 participants in their battles is targeting this Beiming Emperor Palace. Unfortunately, even the most confident Prince Yu Yang missed it. Wu Yu also saw the Beiming Emperor K, which was slightly beyond his expectations. It was a pure black long sword, which looked simple and plain, as if it was just an ordinary wooden sword. With his naked eyes, he could not see anything special. When he saw it for the first time, he thought that the other party had just taken out a magic weapon to fool him. After a few more glances, he found that this Beiming Emperor K was extraordinary. Many people held their breath. Wu Yu found that this was indeed the real Beiming Emperor K. At least those princes and princesses all had an obsessed expression on their faces. The more they longed for the Beiming Emperor's palace, the more they hated Wu Yu, and the anger in their hearts could never dissipate. Wu Yu, take the Beiming Emperor's palace. Prince Yuki held the long wooden sword in both hands and stretched it out in front of Wu Yu. Wu Yu quickly stretched out his hand. When his fingers touched the Beiming Emperor, what I felt was a chill. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. But it's not particularly cold. This spiritual weapon is very restrained. It has no owner and no one is motivating it. It seems to be in a dormant state now. However, this is indeed the top spiritual weapon, close to the level of the heavenly spirit weapon. Once surrendered, it does have the power of the Supreme, so it is very suitable for you to use it with your sky-swallowing body, Ming Long said in admiration. He is an expert and indeed knows better. Wu Yu did not doubt the power of the Beiming Emperor's tower. After all, this was the treasure that so many people longed for. You can slightly feel that even if the Beiming Emperor is in a dormant state, the scorching heat in his body is still incompatible with the Beiming Emperor. The other party was a bit repelled by his fingers, so when Wu Yu touched it, his palms became colder and colder, and the Beiming Emperor's palace also trembled slightly, showing signs of waking up. From this point of view, it can be expected that it will definitely not be easy to sacrifice and refine this spiritual weapon. Wu Yu knew it. He did not study the Beiming Emperor's palace here because he was excited. When he knew that the Beiming Emperor's palace rejected him, he immediately put it into the Sumuru bag, while others could only be very unwilling to do so. Watching, Beiming Emperor K fell into his hands. This is the million Dao Yuan Shen pill. Next, Prince Nether Devour gave another reward to Wu Yu. As for the 500,000 merit, it is not given now, but after returning to the Underworld Marine Corps. But basically, the 500,000 merit will be directly registered in Wu Yu's account. Now he can fully qualify to become the Underworld Corps, a Nether General of the Marine Corps. After all, his strength and achievements are sufficient, and he has plenty to spare. It will not be difficult to become a general of Hai Ming in the future. From now on, Prince Nether Devour officially announced, after half a year of fierce fighting, the battle for hegemony in the North Ming dynasty is completely over. Congratulations to Wu Yu for getting the title of Little Pluto. 10 years later, everyone will reunite here. There were originally celebrations and the like, but they were all cancelled. The Beiming people really couldn't stay here with embarrassed expressions. Here, on behalf of the Beiming Empire, I invite you all to go to the Ming capital. Biming will treat you all. Prince Nether Devour looked around and said to the envoys from the major forces in the Yanhuang ancient territory. Among the messengers, the most famous one is Chuyin, the commander of the Flame Dragon Legion. He has been waiting for this moment for a long time. At this time, he stood up and people's eyes easily fell on him. He cleared his throat and said, Biming has already made a grand ceremony. After entertaining us, now that the grandest battle for Beiming is over, it's time for us to leave. We won't go to Ming capital. Next time our Yanhuang ancient kingdom holds such a grand event, we will definitely invite our fellow Beiming people to watch the battle. A warm welcome. Prince Nether Devour nodded and said, in that case, I will send you off respectfully. Chuyin smiled faintly and said under the attention of everyone, before leaving, there is something I have to say. As we all know, Wu Yu comes from the Yanhuang Emperor City in the Dongsheng Divine Continent, and the Yanhuang Emperor City is our Yanhuang ancient kingdom. The city built is a small border town of ours. Wu Yu is a member of our Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Today, I warmly invite Wu Yu to follow me back to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom and be nurtured and protected by my Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Secondly, I also represent the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Ancient country, apologize to Wu Yu. After all, we did not give you a safe environment to grow up, but from today on, Yanhuang ancient country will definitely be your new home. Wu Yu, please return to a place with the same bloodline as yours. With our scorching blood of Yanhuang, this cold place of Biming is really not suitable for you. It will restrict your magic circle, and the Biming clan will not regard you as a true compatriot, especially after this time. Chuyin was really rude in what he said. After all, behind him was the ancient Yanhuang kingdom that dominated the world. If all the countries in the entire Yanhuang ancient territory united, they would probably be able to barely compete with the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. The 3 continents of the Yanhuang ancient kingdom were the most prosperous places in the entire continent. Therefore, when he was serious, he really wouldn't give Beiming any face. He had to let Wu Yu think clearly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 796. In fact, there is no need for him to say these things. Wu Yu is still very dangerous in the Biming Empire, especially after this battle for hegemony in the Biming Empire. The Biming clan would not recognize him. In this place full of outsiders, he would always be the object of rejection. It might have been possible before to rely solely on Princess Yukin to protect him, but now it was impossible. So next, he plans to keep a low profile in Biming and continue to increase his strength first. Anyway, the sky-swallowing body has been completed, and Biming Emperor K has also been obtained. He did not expect that Chuyin would be so tough and want to take him back to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. If this matter is not handled well, it will be very troublesome. He knew that he had just obtained Biming Emperor's palace, and the Biming clan definitely didn't want him to run away like this. Therefore, he stayed silent for the time being and waited to see how the Biming clan responded. Yuzhang appeared next to Prince Yuzhang. The 2 of them were now the ones in charge here. Wu Yu was involved, and Yuzhang also came forward. They had known for a long time that Chuyin would definitely come to cause trouble at this time. Although the Biming tribe hated Wu Yu, after all, he made the Biming tribe lose face. But now, things have happened, and the Biming Emperor Palace is also in Wu Yu's hands. With so many people present, they would not be willing to watch Wu Yu leave. We can't let Wu Yu leave. If he leaves, Biming Emperor K will never come back. I, Biming, have lost face. It is impossible for me to escape unscathed now. This Wu Yu must have made an agreement with the Yanhuang ancient kingdom and came to humiliate us. The Yanhuang ancient kingdom is so powerful, but it still wants to go against us. We absolutely cannot let Wu Yu leave like this. In this regard, they are very consistent. Seeing the crowds of people from the Baiming tribe looking at him with dissatisfaction, Chuyan felt no pressure at all. He looked at Wu Yu with a smile and said, "Child, return to our own territory. I know you came to Baiming. I am worried that no one can protect me in Yanhuang, and I promise you, I will be the first one to protect you when you arrive in Yanhuang ancient country. In Yanhuang, you can enjoy freedom, that is your home, and you will not be special there. No one will be resentful, and Yanhuang is also the core of the whole world, where you can really take off. Although Baiming is not bad, firstly it is not suitable for you. Secondly, the competition itself is slightly worse. Thirdly, this. After the Baiming hegemony war, it has become difficult for you, Princess Yuki, to defend you. Now here, I estimate that there must be at least 100,000 people who want to kill you." As he spoke, he watched the changes in Wu Yu's expression. He didn't seem to care about Baiming's rejection, he only looked at Wu Yu himself. The current result was unforeseen even by the Baiming clan, especially Wu Yu's terrifying performance at the end, which proved his extraordinary value. The higher the value, the Yanhuang ancient kingdom will definitely come out to snatch it. After all, Wu Yu belongs to the Yanhuang tribe. Chuyan did not give others a chance to speak, and continued to follow the temptation, saying, "I remember in the Hell Sea prison, you were threatened by these princes and princesses with the Dongsheng divine continent. Now I tell you, the Dongsheng divine continent is our Yanhuang ancient kingdom. In our territory, part of our Yanlong Legion is stationed in Dongsheng Shenzhou. I want to see who dares to cause trouble in the territory of our Yanhuang ancient kingdom. You are expected by everyone to return to Yanhuang. Talent is rare in 100,000 years. I dare to promise in front of the world that you will definitely have the possibility to become an immortal in Yanhuang in the future. Our ancient country of Yanhuang respects every genius. Even if you are from a humble background, as long as you have a bright future, you can have it. Supreme status and resources. Now, the entire Yanhuang ancient kingdom already knows you, and everyone is waiting for me to take you back to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. You don't have to worry at all. I am announcing to the world that after returning to Yanhuang ancient country, no one will dare to don't act recklessly, otherwise I, Yanhuang, will lose my trust in the world." It sounds like the Yanhuang ancient kingdom really wants Wu Yu to return. This is not just Chuyan's own intention. Today is indeed announced to the world, so it is impossible for Chuyan to take Wu Yu back and then use Wu Yu to study his inheritance. In the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, if someone did this, they would have to worry about the public opinion in the world. It is more likely that they want to train Wu Yu. If Wu Yu can maintain his current talent and tyranny in the future, it will only make the Yanhuang ancient kingdom even more prosperous. As the most powerful force in the Yanfu world, just with this foresight, they are still owned. Wu Yu, look at the way these people look at you. You have triggered public outrage here. Princess Yuking can no longer protect you. And I promise the world that the Yanhuang ancient Congress will give you absolute safety. You are still here, what are you hesitating about? Chuyan talked a lot, and he was very sincere. This attitude was already very low. After all, he didn't just take Wu Yu away without any resistance. But he was trying to persuade Wu Yu. In Wu Yu's heart, there is actually no answer yet. For him, whether it is the Baiming Empire or the Yanhuang ancient kingdom is indeed a difficult problem. To him, the Baiming Empire meant being disliked, foreseeable dangers, relatively small competition, and relatively few Taoist resources. For example, the Ming Navy Corps did not have Taoism suitable for him. The Yanhuang ancient kingdom means that there are many unknown dangers and competition will be great, because the people there are more terrifying, and there will be a lot of monastic resources, and most of them are suitable for Wu Yu. The key is that no matter how much Chuyan promises, The unknown dangers from Yanhuang are still terrifying. What worries Wu Yu in particular is Emperor Yu and others, including Chu Fengyu, who is looking at Wu Yu indifferently next to Chu Yin. Wu Yu doesn't care about the strange existence that came back from the dead on the Taku Immortal Road. Dare to look her in the eyes. Who knows what earth-shattering secrets she may have. Of course, he never thought about Baiming at first. He also wanted to go to Yanhuang, but his talent was exposed too much, so he had to ask Princess Yuking to protect him. Cultivation is inherently dangerous. Wu Yu also spent his time in Baiming in danger. Now, Chu Yin is waiting for Wu Yu's answer, while Yu Shang and Prince Yu Shang are more anxious. They are making calculations, but they find that if Wu Yu wants to leave, they really have no honest reason to keep Wu Yu. After all, Wu Yu is not from the Baiming clan, and Baiming Emperor K cannot be the reason, otherwise it will only make people think that the Baiming Empire is too stingy. If Wu Yu is allowed to leave, Baiming's losses today will only be greater. Just when the two brothers were feeling depressed, the old voice of the ancestors came from above their heads. His voice came to mind suddenly, but it directly attracted everyone's attention. He said, speaking of which, Dongsheng Shenzhou is not Yanhuang, so it is a bit forced to impose the Yanhuang tribe on Wu Yu. Moreover, who said that Wu Yu is not from Baiming? Today, I will make the decision to let the young people who are in love finally get married. 11 My uncle has fulfilled your wish today and betrothed you to Wu Yu in place of your father, and we have become a Taoist couple from now on. In this way, Wu Yu is my consort of Baiming, and he is naturally a member of my Baiming clan. As soon as these words came out, a lot of people really made a fuss. People stared in disbelief. How can a princess marry a foreigner? Our Baiming Empire has never had such a precedent. This will dirty the blood of our Baiming tribe. How could this be possible? Ancestor Shan is really. Of course, some people agreed, saying, this is the only way to retain Wu Yu, and it is the best way to solve the problem. Everyone thinks that if Wu Yu becomes the prince-in-law, then it is true that we, the Baiming tribe, at least the Baiming people, the Ming Empire is his home, and the Baiming Emperor's palace also belongs to our Baiming. Moreover, even if he gets the first place, it will be our Baiming's consort who gets the first place. We will not be embarrassed at all. The top 10 are all it's the royal family. It makes sense, and there are many princesses themselves. Although there is no precedent, what will happen if one of them marries Wu Yu? Wu Yu is also very talented. Their future descendants will definitely be good, and they will continue the family line. There are also many other princes and princesses. Wu Yu will become stronger in the future, which will also be a benefit to us Baiming. Zhuangzi is indeed very brave. The two princes must have thought of this method, but they just can't make a decision. This matter really needs to be decided by the elders. As for the Minghai Emperor, he definitely wants Princess Yuki to be happy, which happens to be Princess Yuking and Wu Yu were in love, but encountered obstacles, and now they are able to get together, which is a good story. Panzu's words made Baiming very noisy. Those who agreed and those who disagreed formed a quarrel, each occupying half of the numbers. The faces of the participants in the war are all different, especially Duan Yi, Yinxian, and others. They used to be popular candidates for the prince's consort, but now their faces are completely broken and they want to cry without tears. In this way, Wu Yu is really all they were defeated in all directions. The only thing in this world that makes people miss more than a bright future is the delicate and beautiful woman. In Chu Yin's opinion, this move of Pan Ziyu directly hit Wu Yu's vital point. If Wu Yu went to Yanhuang, Princess Yuking would definitely be separated completely. Chu Yin could predict that Wu Yu would probably stay because of this. In Baiming, if you want to become Baiming's consort, it will be impossible to bring Wu Yu back. Chu Yin was anxious for a while. However, this matter still depends on the person involved. At this time, people were noisy and arguing, and they were all looking at Wu Yu and Princess Yuki. Princess Yuki was back in people's sight. Now, she is more than happy, but panic. Everyone, please stop arguing and listen to me. Princess Yuki's words made everyone quiet down. Her eyes were red. She looked at Wu Yu and then at Panzu. At this time, she knelt down and said with a choked voice, "Uncle, and all fellow Beiming compatriots, I have let everyone down. I can't do this." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 797. Can't do it? This made everyone confused. They were all discussing whether it was worth it, but no one expected that the first person to stand up an object was Princess Yuki herself. In everyone's impression, Wu Yu came all the way to join her. The two fought side by side on the Taku Immortal Road and had a life and death friendship. They were both young men and women, talented and beautiful, and their relationship was so close. Although they repeatedly denied that they were not, they are in love, but anyone with a discerning eye knows that they are also protecting each other. After all, there is a big obstacle between them. Now, just when they should be crying with joy, why did Princess Yuki run out directly? For a while, even Chuyin didn't expect such a change, so he just waited and watched. "Xia, what do you mean?" Panzu asked in a deep voice. He also spent a lot of courage and made an emergency decision. Princess Yuki raised her head, calmed down her mood, and then said seriously, "Uncle, I have emphasized before that Wu Yu and I are just friends. Both of us are dedicated to cultivating Taoism. Our relationship is pure and we appreciate each other, but it does not involve love. Connor never thought about it looking for a Taoist companion. I just want to rely on myself to concentrate on breakthroughs. Wu Yu also considers Zhou to be a friend, so you rashly betrothed me to him, which made it difficult for both of us, because we are not suitable ourselves. Therefore, Zhou is really, I'm sorry, I can't accept your promise." After speaking, 2 tears fell down her fair and tender face. This is really shocking. In fact, this was not Wu Yu's order. Before Wu Yu could figure out what to do, Princess Yuki stepped forward and resolved the matter for him. She may be very aware of her relationship with Wu Yu. Wu Yu knows that she actually likes him a little bit. If he likes her too, maybe today is indeed a happy event, and we can overcome difficulties and obstacles together. There is only one Taoist companion in a lifetime, and those who practice Taoism depend on each other for life and death. Princess Yuki is very good, and Wu Yu has treated her badly. However, after all, she is not the person Wu Yu is looking for. A casual combination will only harm each other. In this regard, Wu Yu still kept a distance from Princess Yuki. What Yu Kang did made Wu Yu look at her more highly. Now she has undergone a huge transformation. If Wu Yu didn't know how to release the soul-controlling blood formation, he would never hesitate. But he also understood that letting Princess Yuki speak for herself would indeed make her feel uncomfortable. In front of the public, Wu Yu helped her up, and then expressed his wishes to everyone for the first time. He said, "I'm sorry, the elders have misunderstood. The relationship between the princess and I is indeed not what everyone imagined. Please everyone don't embarrass Princess Yuki." Both of them refused. Even if it was the marriage offered by Panzu, the matter would be ruined. After all, Panzu couldn't sacrifice the two of them in order to keep Wu Yu. Everyone was shocked that things had progressed to this extent. They had been arguing before, but now they found that this argument was useless. Things have gone through several twists and turns now. The happiest person now is Chuyin. He couldn't help but want to laugh. To be honest, he was still depressed just now. So he quickly said, "In that case, Wu Yu has made a choice, then follow me directly back to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom." He was confident. After such a long period of thinking, Wu Yu had almost made a decision. The appearance of Chuyin disrupted his steps. After some calm thinking, he decided to stay in the Biming Empire for a while. Until he felt that he was confident enough to return to the ancient Yanhuang kingdom. So he solemnly said, "Senior Chu, I'm really sorry, I have no plans to go to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom for the time being. Maybe in the future, when I have more ability to protect myself, I will go to Yanhuang to adjust the larger battlefield. Now I want to stay in Biming." For him, he felt that Biming was very dangerous, but the Yanhuang ancient kingdom was even more dangerous, especially because of the existence of those few people. Wu Yu didn't want to appear in front of him at all. Those few people were the emperor and the others. For example, Wu Yu still doesn't dare to face Chu Fengjiu, who is beside Chu Yin, because he has actually seen Chu Fengjiu's body. He definitely wants to go to Yanhuang, but not now. There was a smile on Chu Yin's face, but now he put it away. To him, Wu Yu at this time was really ignorant. But the people in the Biming Empire had a good impression of Wu Yu. After all, he didn't let the people of the Yanhuang ancient kingdom laugh and walk away, but he still gave Biming face. Now as long as Wu Yu chooses to stay in Biming, Biming won't be so embarrassed. Moreover, Wu Yu did not take advantage of the marriage granted by his ancestors to become the prince-in-law. His magnanimity makes people approach him a little bit. People discovered that Wu Yu was really not afraid of anything. Have very strict persistence towards goals. So Yu Hang and the others were relieved at this time. As for Chu Yin, he seemed a little dumbfounded. In fact, what he said was all based on Wu Yu's own decision. If Wu Yu didn't agree, it would be unrealistic for him to take Wu Yu away by force. The main thing is to look at Wu Yu. Then Yu Shang and the others were relieved. No matter what Chu Yin said, Wu Yu would not leave today. Now the Biming people want to see Chu Yin's jokes. After all, they feel that Chu Yin is already very angry and embarrassed at this time. After all, there were so many reversals today. However, what puzzled them was that Chu Yin was not so angry, but calm. He smiled helplessly and said, "Actually, as of now, I have nothing to do. If everything goes well, I don't need to go out here at all. Wu Yu, you can't understand this now, so I can only announce this honor to the world." This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Honor. Wu Yu didn't understand what he meant for a while. When Chu Yin finished speaking, his expression was solemn. At this time, he actually took the lead, kneeling on his knees together with all the people from the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, raising his hands with a pious look on his face. Chu Yin was unprecedentedly solemn. At this time, he led the crowd and sang loudly, "We, the descendants of Yan and Huang, respectfully welcome the ancient emperor's imperial decree." As soon as the last 4 words came out, Wu Yu clearly felt that everyone present was suffocated, including Yu Shang and others, who were also shocked. Before Wu Yu understood what was going on, something suddenly changed above everyone's heads. In the sky, 2 rays of light suddenly appeared, one golden and one black. The 2 rays of light suddenly exploded during the collision, and instantly transformed into a huge shadow. The shadow has 2 parts. The front part is golden, and the back part is black like a shadow. This is a huge figure. The man was standing in the void, and his appearance could not be clearly seen, but at the first moment, Wu Yu felt a huge and terrifying pressure, causing his knees to hit the ground. At that moment, a pair of knees were almost shattered. The key is that the pressure still existed. After kneeling on the ground, he could not even lift his head. He could only lower his head, sweating profusely, and persisted, as if a mountain peak was pressing on him. Like the top of the head. Not only his body, but also his clones under this sudden pressure. All kneel down. Wu Yu also heard a loud noise. Although he did not raise his head, he looked out of the corner of his eyes. In fact, everyone around him was suppressed and fell to their knees. He even suddenly saw a difficult resistance not far away. The Prince of Nether Devour. He was also kneeling on the ground, and it was dropped from the sky. No wonder there was such a big movement just now. There is no doubt that everyone knelt down, including the ancestor who was close to becoming an immortal when Wu Yu was extremely doubtful and unwilling. Ming Long's words completely shocked him. Painzu also knelt down. This made Wu Yu really tremble in his heart. This was just a shadow. What kind of existence could it make even Anzu fall down? And this person did not come to the scene in person. He originally felt that it was quite humiliating to be suppressed like this, but now he was only shocked. He knew that an unprecedented strong man must have appeared. Although he may not have appeared in his true form, who was this person? The only one who can tell Wu Yu the information now is Princess Yuking. There is a lot of fear in her thoughts. At the same time, a name echoes in her mind, that is, ancient Emperor Yanhuang. Wu Yu recognized that this was the current emperor of the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, but it was said that he had existed for a long time. The most terrifying thing was that this man was said to be more powerful than ordinary immortals. Some people said that he had actually become an immortal. He became an immortal, but heaven allowed him to continue guarding the human world. There are many rumors about him, and even Wu Yu knows that the father of Emperor Yu's son is the strongest person in the entire Yanfu world. This is the ancient emperor's imperial edict, not the ancient emperor Yanhuang's personal visit. But this also shows that he has cared about what happened here. It is not easy for such a fairy-like existence to pay attention to this place. Wu Yu could clearly feel Princess Yukin's fear. He looked at the others, even Prince Yuki, and they were all scared at this time. At this moment, he realized that this Yanhuang ancient emperor was actually so terrifying. It is simply like the Haoshan immortal in the immortal kingdom of mortals. Before Wu Yu was 15 years old, the Haoshan immortal was almost like a real immortal. The ancient emperor's decree is the decree of the ancient emperor Yanhuang. It can go wherever you think of it. Wu Yu was still in shock. In a daze, he heard an extremely majestic voice echoing around him. The voice said, in view of Wu Yu's extraordinary talent and pure mind in the Yanhuang Emperor city, Gu can be named the Emperor Envoy. I must return to Yanhuang to support Emperor Yu's career. This sound simply echoed over and over again. Wu Yu was completely confused. Is this the ancient emperor of Yan and Huang asking him to go to the ancient kingdom of Yan and Huang? Did he personally deliver the edict? Moreover, he also named himself the emissary of the emperor to assist the emperor's son? What position is this? The most powerful existence in the world is like a god, letting himself go to Yanhuang. The key is to assist Emperor Yu, who is terrifying to Wu Yu. Ming Long whined and said, I'll go, now you are completely finished. I don't know when the ancient emperor's decree disappeared. Wu Yu and others stood up, but Wu Yu still couldn't calm down for a long time. Faintly, I heard Chu Yin say with envy, congratulations to Wu Yu, for becoming the emperor. As decreed by the ancient emperor, if Emperor Yu's son can become the emperor in the future, you will be the second person in the world of Jambu. From this sentence, you can tell what kind of position the emperor's envoy is. Volume 7 will begin soon. A story more exciting and rougher than Bei Ming Tun Tian begins right away. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 798. Not only Wu Yu himself, even now that the ancient emperor's edict has disappeared, the Dead Sea is still in a dead silence. For a long time, everyone held their breath, their faces were shocked, and no sound was made. The only people who can still be excited, satisfied, and have a strong sense of pride are the people of the Yanhuang ancient country. However, even among them, most people don't know that Chu Yin has the ancient emperor's edict, so now they are still in great excitement. The most serious contrast is all the Baiming people. They are completely opposite to the Yanhuang people. The appearance of the Yanhuang ancient emperor makes them afraid and their faces are ashen, even the two princes Yuzhang and Yushi. Wu Yu can clearly see that their faces are also very pale. This is not only because they were suppressed by the ancient emperor's edict just now, but also because they themselves know very well how terrible the Yanhuang ancient emperor is. Wu Yu thought that they had reached the top level and there was no fear, but it was not the case. He didn't quite know what the Yanhuang ancient emperor's edict meant. It was just that the performance of the Baiming clan made him a little uneasy. Prince Yushi and Yu Hang were so disappointed and depressed now, which obviously meant that once the ancient emperor's decree came out, even they might find it difficult to resist. It shouldn't be, Yanhuang ancient emperor, even if he is so powerful, can he still take me away from the Baiming Empire? Will the Minghai emperor not show up? Wu Yu was a little confused. Now no one spoke, only Chuyin was laughing. After a dead silence, Chuyin smiled at Wu Yu and said, "There is no time to lose. In the next few days, Emperor Li will follow me back to the Yanhuang ancient country. After all, this is the ancient emperor's decree, and no one in the entire Yanfu world can disobey it." Originally, competing for himself was a matter between Chuyin and the Baiming clan, and Wu Yu had already made the decision to stay in the Baiming Empire. Even if the ancient emperor's decree appeared now, the Baiming clan should fight for him, so Wu Yu didn't speak at this time. He was waiting for Yu Hang or Prince Yushi, or the ancestor of disaster, to retain him. Maybe they just need to drive Chuyin out of the Baiming Empire. After all, this is their territory. The ancient country of Yanhuang can't attack here. But in fact, up to now, no one in the entire Baiming clan has come out to say a word. Everyone is still shocked by the ancient emperor's decree just now. Wu Yu, maybe we will be separated from now on. When Wu Yu was still depressed, Princess Yuyin behind him said to him with tears in her eyes and a choked voice. Her body trembled slightly. Obviously, she was a little uncomfortable at the moment and was very reluctant. Isn't it certain, Wu Yu thought, that even if the ancient emperor Yanhuang had the strength of an immortal, it was impossible for him to say anything? Could it be that he had the final say in the entire Yanhuang ancient domain? Then, do other countries still have value in existence? The ancient emperor's decree means everything. No one can defy the will of the ancient emperor Yanhuang. In the ancient Yanhuang domain, his will is the will of heaven. My father dare not defy it? Maybe you don't know yet. If it weren't for the ancient Yanhuang emperor, there would be no intention to annex other immortal empires. Otherwise, there would be no Baiming Empire in this world. Princess Yuyin, as a person from the ancient Yanhuang domain, knows better than Wu Yu. She also knows that Wu Yu doesn't know in his heart that the ancient Yanhuang emperor is such an existence in the ancient Yanhuang country. He is above everything, like a real immortal and ruler of the ancient Yanhuang domain. Is it so? Wu Yu's heart was filled with deep shock. When Princess Yuyin explained the truth, he knew it. However, this matter was too difficult to accept, so he was still unwilling in his heart. At the same time, he had a deep awe and curiosity about the ancient Yanhuang emperor. What kind of existence could scare so many people and worship him as a myth? Just from the golden and black shadows of the ancient emperor's edict, Wu Yu seemed to see the power of this person. He did not come in person, but he could make the two princes kneel directly. Thinking carefully, this is indeed a power beyond all immortals. He originally thought that Emperor Minghai and Emperor Yanhuang were at the same level. Even if Emperor Minghai might be a little weaker, now it seems that they may not be the same concept. Emperor Minghai is still working hard to become an immortal, and the ancient Emperor Yanhuang may be the real immortal guarding the world in the legend. I have learned a lot. Wu Yu could only sigh. It seems that up to this moment, his future is destined to be influenced and controlled by others. When Chuyin spoke, he looked at Prince Yushi and Yu Hang again. The two also saw Wu Yu, but let Wu Yu understand that they had given up something. The moment they looked at each other, they helplessly turned their eyes away. They dared not face Wu Yu, so Wu Yu's only hope might be the ancestor of disaster. It is estimated that only the ancestor of disaster can make the decision here. Therefore, Wu Yu did not respond to Chu Yin's words, but raised his head and looked in the direction of the ancestor of disaster, and said directly and clearly, "Ancestor of disaster, if possible, I would rather stay in the Biming Empire. I wonder if the Biming Empire can keep me. I will definitely repay you for your kindness today." He never thought that the ancient emperor's decree of the ancient emperor Yanhuang would be so powerful and directly interrupted his plan. Now no one dared to say anything, and he could only pin his last hope on the ancestor of disaster. When Wu Yu finished speaking, there was a little commotion around, and people looked up at the sky like him, to see if their Biming Empire could stand up. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Wu Yu is waiting. Time passed by bit, and there was no movement above. Wu Yu's fiery eyes could clearly see the ancestor of disaster. He was sitting upright, closing his eyes, and not saying a word. It lasted for at least 30 breaths. He didn't react for such a long time, and the result came out. The Biming clan was very disappointed, and Wu Yu was also very disappointed. But there was no way, this was reality. When the Biming Empire could not retain him, with his personal ability, of course he could not resist the will of the Yanhuang ancient emperor, let alone escape under the eyes of Chu Yin and his group. However, he didn't need to escape. For him, the Yanhuang ancient country only meant a higher challenge, not a hell where he couldn't survive. He was never afraid of challenges in his life. So now he has a plan in mind. Since he can't refuse or resist, he will put aside all his fears and go all out, using all his will and spirit to go to the ancient country of Yanhuang and give it a try. He can make the entire Biming Empire remember him, so why would he be afraid of the challenge of the ancient country of Yanhuang? So he took a deep breath, and when he exhaled, his mind had completely changed. He was not afraid of the ancient country of Yanhuang. From then on, his goal became to rise in the higher challenge of the ancient country of Yanhuang. If there is a place that will be the final springboard for him to become an immortal, of course he has to choose the ancient country of Yanhuang, because it is the core of the entire ancient domain of Yanhuang, and even the entire world of Yanfu. Historically, the most people have become immortals in that area, but now he is more confused. Going is a foregone conclusion. However, it is difficult for him to figure out the mystery in it. How could such a person as Yanhuang ancient emperor know me? And he wants me to assist Le Daizi and become LED's envoy. No matter how Wu Yu thought about it, he couldn't figure it out. Ming Long was also very puzzled. Yes, if he knew that you had the inheritance of an immortal, with his ability, he could just take it from you directly, and there was no need to make it so complicated. But if he didn't know, you wouldn't have any value in his heart. However, I think it might have something to do with Le Daizi. After all, Le Daizi survived the ancient immortal road and is still very strange now. For Wu Yule, there are two big mysteries now. The first mystery is that the motive of Yanhuang ancient emperor and the ancient emperor's edict is completely unclear. The second mystery is, what is Le Daizi now? Why does he want me to assist him? If I go there, will I still be alive? Wu Yu found that from this moment on, it seemed that someone else controlled his fate, and his eyes were full of unknowns that he couldn't understand. This feeling is not good. It can be said to be extremely dangerous. Wu Yu was thinking whether he had the possibility of escaping. After thinking about it, he gave up because the Yanhuang ancient emperor was a person with divine power. He could not escape his eyes at all. Maybe he was right beside him. Even Chu Yin might not be able to catch Wu Yu now. If it was the Yanhuang ancient emperor, judging from the degree of fear of the Biming clan, there was probably no one in the entire Yanfu world that he could not catch. So for him, these two huge mysteries were full of fog and could not be figured out at all. Except for going to the Yanhuang ancient country with Chu Yin to experience it personally, wade through the muddy water, and break the danger, there would be no day to solve the mystery. Of course, he might also die in the process and benefit others. However, wanting to become an immortal should be so exciting. It would not be fun if it was not exciting. Indeed, it seems to be getting more and more interesting. Yes, Wu Yu is still full of passion and desire for his own path of cultivation. Since the ancient country of Yanhuang has opened its doors to him, he will go out and explore without hesitation, leaving life and death behind. If there is something more important to Wu Yu than life and death, it may be the Tao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 799. Chuyan and the others were confident. When Wu Yu asked Pan Ziyu, but Pan Ziyu chose not to answer, they knew that Wu Yu's trip to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom was completely settled. We are setting off today, Wu Yu. The entire Yanhuang ancient kingdom may want to see you. After all, you have become a legend here in Baiming. Don't worry, after arriving in the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, we will treat you as a member of the Yanhuang clan. You are a member of the Yanhuang tribe, not a foreigner, that is your real home. Wu Yu, as the Yanhuang tribe, we should be prouder than everyone else. Chuyan told Wu Yu a lot. Although Wu Yu did not respond to him, the 800,000 people present did not think this would be suspense. Princess Yuking felt very sad. She actually didn't want to let go of Wu Yu, but now Wu Yu had no choice but to cry. The only person who is more anxious than Wu Yu is probably Nanshan Wanjiao. He didn't expect that Wu Yu would return to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom, so what he just said was to follow Princess Yuki. After all, Wu Yu didn't expect this at first, so he put Princess Yuki in front. Make people more convinced. The problem now is that the person Nanshan Wanjiao really wants to follow is Wu Yu. He still doesn't like Princess Yuki, but Wu Yu is going to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom now, and he doesn't want to stay alone in the Baiming Empire. Wu Yu, you can put forward conditions. I know you have no choice, but you can also say that you can go to Yanhuang ancient kingdom, but you must take me with you. This was our agreement from the beginning. I helped you get Baiming Emperor Palace and First Glory, you must fulfill your promise. Nanshan Wanjiao was very anxious and spoke very hastily. Wu Yu almost forgot about him. Now, Nanshan Wanjiao is basically attached to Wu Yu. If Wu Yu leaves, he will still be in danger. This time, Nanshan Wanjiao's help in getting the Baiming Emperor Palace was extremely huge. Without him, Wu Yu would not have achieved what he has today. Therefore, he had to do whatever he promised the other party, even if it meant mountains of swords and seas of fire. Yeah, that's how seriously he takes his commitment. Since Nanshan Wanjiao also wants to follow him, he might as well take him with him. If he fights alongside him, he might be more sure of saving his life. It was Wu Yu's turn to express his stance. Now under the spotlight of everyone, he raised his head, looked at Chuyan, without any fear, and said loudly, I was lucky enough to be appointed by the ancient emperor, so Wu Yu went through fire and water without hesitation. However, in order to protect me before, friends, we lied. The person this demon really wants to follow is me. It's just that Wu Yu feels that he doesn't have enough energy and wants Princess Yuki to protect him. Now, I am going to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom and I want to take him away. Wu Yu was able to consider himself at this juncture, and Nanshan Wanjiao also recognized him very much. At this moment, he also said with great excitement, thank you all, I just want to follow Wu Yu. He makes me admire him to the extreme. I hope that the Yanhuang ancient kingdom the adults can help and take me away. Princess Yuking saw that she was needed at this time, so she stood up and said, let this monster follow Wu Yu. After all, it is not me who he really surrenders to. Chuyan and others also clearly saw Nanshan Wanjiao's ability. At this time, it was a buy one, get one free, and of course he would not refuse, so he smiled happily and said generously, in that case, then come with me to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Don't worry, as long as you follow Wu Yu, no one in the Yanhuang ancient kingdom can bully you, and you can even become a member of my Yanhuang clan and have a bright future like Wu Yu. Wu Yu agreed to this, and so did Chu Yin. After all, Nanshan Wanjiao has shown his ability. If Wu Yu hadn't been too dazzling and overshadowed him, many people would be interested in him now. Therefore, the people of the Baiming tribe were still unwilling to give in. After all, this was not part of the ancient emperor's imperial edict, so Prince Netherphage stood up at this time and said in a deep voice, "This can't be done. This is the wealth of our Baiming Empire. Wu Yu has already asked you to take it away, Nanshan Wanjiao, but you can't take it away, it has nothing to do with your Yanhuang ancient country. Without the ancient emperor's decree, they could still be a little tougher." Chu Yin also guessed that they would do this. Wu Yu couldn't give them any chance to refuse, so he said directly, "In this case, it will be troublesome. Lord Chu Yin told the ancient emperor that if Nanshan Wanjiao doesn't follow me, I don't want to go to the Yanhuang ancient kingdom. Although this is impossible, it is still possible to say it. As long as Wu Yu resists, it will be a problem for Chu Yin after all." Borrowing Wu Yu's words, Chu Yin smiled half-heartedly, looked at Prince Nether Devourer and said, "Your Excellency, are you going to go against the ancient emperor? If you don't let this monster go, Wu Yu won't leave with us. If ancient emperor Yanhuang takes the blame, can you bear it?" Chu Yin finally obtained the legendary ancient emperor's imperial edict. How could he not make full use of it at this time? In fact, he himself was shocked when he got the ancient emperor's imperial edict. He just reported the situation here. The ancient emperor's imperial edict, how many people of similar status to him want to apply for one, is all a dream. Disobeying the will of ancient emperor Yanhuang was a big deal. No one dared to do this. But now Chu Yin put this big hat on the heads of Prince Yuzhang, and others. They will indeed have a fight about Nanshan Wanjiao. Even if Chu Yin uses the ancient imperial edict of the Yanhuang ancient emperor to suppress them, Prince Yushi thought of the possibility of Nanshan Wanjiao, and gritted his teeth and said, "The Yanhuang ancient emperor just wants Wu Yu to return to the Yanhuang ancient country. This has nothing to do with Nanshan Wanjiao. Nanshan Wanjiao is a demon of my Baiming Empire and has no reason to go to the Yanhuang ancient country." This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Chu Yin said, "The key is that if Wu Yu does not take Nanshan Wanjiao away, he will not cooperate obediently, resulting in him not being able to return to the Yanhuang ancient country. This responsibility is all on you. Can you bear it?" In fact, he could have taken Wu Yu directly. However, Wu Yu said it himself, this is the only chance to take this demon with extraordinary talent, and he certainly does not want to miss it. As long as Wu Yu speaks, he will definitely try his best to take Nanshan Wanjiao with him. Therefore, his tone gradually became serious, and he said angrily, "Prince Yushi, you are really brave. If it weren't for the Emperor Minghai, who traveled around the world to find the way to become an immortal, and knew that you were here and disobeyed the will of the ancient Emperor Yanhuang, he would definitely give you a slap in the face." Wu Yu saw that the Baiming tribe failed to keep him, and he himself was a little disappointed. Now there was no need to be polite, and said, "Anyway, my attitude is like this. If I don't take Nanshan Wanjiao away, you can't let me go to the ancient country of Yanhuang. Even if it's you, you may not be able to stop me from escaping." Of course, the you he was talking about were those people in the ancient country of Yanhuang. "Forget it," the ancestor of the disaster said 3 words at this time, and his tone was relatively calm. He chose to give up. Wu Yu guessed that this old man might be more familiar with the ancient Emperor Yanhuang than others, and knew more about his strength. He gave up first, and Yuzhang and the others had nothing to say. Success. Wu Yu and Nanjun Wanjiao looked at each other and breathed a sigh of relief, but they both knew that this trip to the ancient country of Yanhuang was more dangerous than the Biming Empire they had originally imagined, and there was also the mysterious ancient Emperor Yanhuang. It was really unpredictable what the future would be like. Perhaps, even if they had just gone to the ancient country of Yanhuang, they would not have a good ending. Yangzhu is still sensible. Junior, thank you for your help, so that I can smoothly carry out the will of the ancient Emperor Yanhuang. Chuyin smiled. Although he was not young, he was still a generation behind him. The people of the Biming clan suffered a great humiliation this time, and they also lost a treasure like the Biming Emperor K. It must be difficult for them to be happy at this time, so their faces were very ugly. The Biming royal family did not pay attention to Chuyin. Now they just wanted to let Chuyin leave quickly so as not to be upset. This time, for the Biming Empire, they suffered a big loss. After all, Wu Yu is half of the ancient Yanhuang country, and it is too difficult to compete with Wu Yu. If that's the case, let's set off quickly in order to avoid more trouble. Chuyin also wanted to return to the ancient Yanhuang country as soon as possible. After all, this is a heavy responsibility for him. Wu Yu was also ready to accept this challenge. However, he did not forget another thing, so he said to Chuyin, "You can't leave now. I represent the Ming High Corps and won the first place in the Biming battle. The Ming High Corps should reward me with 500,000 merits. I need at least 10 days to exchange these merits for Taoist magic skills that are useful to me." Hearing this, many people in the Biming clan were unhappy again. Wu Yu had received enough rewards. Now, with 500,000 merits, he must have exchanged a lot of things. Whatever Wu Yu takes now is equivalent to transferring the things of the Biming Empire to the ancient Yanhuang country. However, before the Biming tribe responded, Chuyin laughed and said, "This is easy. You are equivalent to representing the Yanlong Corps of our ancient country of Yanhuang. If you win the first place in the Biming contest, you don't need the 500,000 merits. My Yanlong Corps will reward you with 500,000 merits, which will take effect immediately. When you arrive in the ancient country of Yanhuang, go to my Yanlong Corps. The treasures of our Yanlong Corps are more suitable for you." This is indeed very generous, but the words made the Biming tribe very depressed. Representing the Yanlong Corps to win the first place in the Biming contest, isn't this a slap in the face of all the Biming tribe? The Biming tribe has suffered enough anger today, and now the Biming royal family just wants them to get out as soon as possible. Therefore, Prince Yashi said, "Hurry up and set off. We are also going to disperse. I won't see you off." Wu Yu knew that a new journey had begun. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 800. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Chuyin was not in a hurry. Except for Chu Fenjiao, all the hundreds of people from the ancient Yanhuang country were smiling. It was obvious that the ancient Yanhuang emperor made each of them feel superior. "Let's go," Chuyin was the leader. Under his call, all the cultivators of the ancient Yanhuang country left their seats. Then, people could see that Chuyin sacrificed his upper spiritual weapon. Like Yu Shang, he also had an upper spiritual weapon, a warship. Chuyin flicked his sleeves, and a golden light floated out, suddenly transforming into a golden shining dragon. The dragon was magnificent and magnificent. In a blink of an eye, it turned into a magnificent golden warship. On the golden warship, a blazing golden flame burned. The whole warship was burning like the scorching sun in the sky, bringing a scorching temperature to the entire cold Biming land. Such a burning fire made the Biming people feel even more uncomfortable. But unfortunately, this kind of anger and unwillingness can only be endured. Only when one day, the Yanhuang ancient emperor no longer exists, will they have the possibility of revenge. Today, they can only endure humiliation. "Wu Yu, board my Yanlong warship." Chuyin led the hundreds of people and rushed towards the Yanlong warship. After a while, they rushed into the flames. They all seemed to be burning in the flames, extremely hot. Below were Wu Yu and his devouring heaven body, as well as Nanshan Wanjiao. Let's go. The Yanhuang ancient emperor personally asked you to go to the Yanhuang ancient country. This is rare in the world. Just based on this, you will be famous. No one in the entire Yanfu world will not know you. With you, I can also have some exposure. Nanshan Wanjiao's words could not be heard to be sad or eager. Perhaps he was like Wu Yu, both worried about the unknowns of the Yanhuang ancient emperor and the emperor's envoy, and eager for the challenge of the Yanhuang ancient country. The only one who was a little reluctant was Princess Yuyan. Now Princess Yuyan's eyes were red and she looked at him with tears. Wu Yu stood in front of her, helped her wipe away her tears, and said, "There is nothing to cry about. It's not a farewell forever. There will be many opportunities to meet in the future. Whatever you are thinking, it will not escape my eyes. When I find a way to crack this soul-controlling blood formation, I will definitely give you freedom as soon as possible. I will do what I say. Remember to save your life, don't try too hard in everything, and keep the Green Mountains, you will not be afraid of running out of firewood," Princess Yuyan finally reminded. "Okay, you work harder." Wu Yu still hopes to see that she is better than all other princes and princesses. After saying goodbye to Princess Yuyan, Wu Yu and his clone, as well as Nanshan Wanjiao, flew towards Chuyan's Yanlong warship. In a blink of an eye, they were submerged in the golden flames and disappeared in front of the Biming tribe. After Wu Yu and the others went up, Chuyan did not stop at all, and flew directly out of the Dead Sea, flew into the sky, rode the wind and waves, and sped towards the direction of the ancient country of Yanhuang. Wu Yu and Nanshan Wanjiao stood on the deck of the Yanlong warship. Opposite them stood the monks of the ancient country of Yanhuang, and the two sides looked at each other. Because of Chu Fenjiao's existence, whenever Wu Yu saw him, he would feel a deep indifference all over his body. Every time he faced this person, Wu Yu would think of the appearance of his corpse. It's better to avoid this person more, so he almost forced himself not to pay attention to Chu Fenjiao. Of course, the other party didn't pay much attention to him. He seemed to be immersed in his own world. "Wu Yu, don't worry. You were personally requested by the ancient Emperor Yanhuang to be brought back to the ancient country of Yanhuang. With the identity of the Emperor Yu, it can be said that no one in the ancient country of Yanhuang dares to attack you easily and secretly. Everything you have is safe." "Really? Then I must thank the ancient Emperor Yanhuang another day." After saying this, everyone on the other side burst into laughter, laughing so hard that they fell forward and backward. That Chuyan also smiled, and then asked everyone not to lose their composure. He looked at Wu Yu with a slightly pitying look and said, "The ancient Emperor Yanhuang is not so easy to see. Even his children find it very difficult to see him. You don't have to dream about it. If you want to thank him, you can just say it to the sky. He can hear it. Everything cannot escape his control. Such means really sound like a godlike existence. That is indeed a terrifying person." Wu Yu was not frightened. He also knew how terrible the ancient Emperor Yanhuang was. In fact, Chuyan's words made him feel a little relieved. He was afraid that the Yanhuang ancient emperor would appear. If the other party did not appear, he would still have a chance to improve himself. No matter what the other party's purpose was, his goal was to quickly become strong under safe conditions. The ancient emperor's decree of the Yanhuang ancient emperor could indeed prevent some people with bad intentions from wanting to seize his inheritance. If it was in public, Wu Yu was not worried. He was only worried about those who made a move in secret. But if the Yanhuang ancient emperor was paying attention, I believe no one would dare to make a move against him in secret. In this way, at least when facing those senior cultivators, he would not be completely passive. This is good news. Wu Yu now has the power of the clone, and he is much more confident. Especially after the clone has the Biming Emperor K, although it has not yet been sacrificed to the Beiming Emperor K. So, he said to Chu Yin, during the time I go to the Yanhuang ancient country, I want a separate environment to strengthen myself as soon as possible. The Yanhuang ancient country must be not simple, and he doesn't want to waste time. Chu Yin wanted to get closer to Wu Yu and get to know each other. Wu Yu obviously didn't like him that much, and he was too lazy to make himself unhappy. Anyway, his mission was just to bring Wu Yu back to the ancient country of Yanhuang. What happened next had nothing to do with him. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. That's entirely possible. I'll arrange it for you. When you get to Yanhuang, I'll naturally let you out. In this regard, the other party was simple and direct. He arranged a secret room for Wu Yu, and he and Nanshan Wanjiao were both in it. However, this was the interior of Chu Yin's Shangling Daikai. Chu Yin probably knew clearly what Wu Yu and the others were doing here. The reason for the closed environment was that he didn't want to tell others too much. Because Wu Yu knew that these people definitely didn't know the two mysteries he wanted to know the most. He hadn't put away his clone in the secret room yet, and didn't want people to know the existence of the Fusion Tower. During this period of time, he prepared two things. The first was to enhance his realm, and the second was to sacrifice to the Beiming Emperor K. In fact, he can now challenge many puppets in the floating life tower, and can also learn the Taoist magic in the Taoist Demon Palace. However, because this is Chu Yin's spiritual weapon, he put the matter about the floating life tower behind. In a magnificent secret room, Wu Yu and Nanshan Wanjiao sat opposite each other, with the body of the devouring heaven on the side. At this time, Nanshan Wanjiao was full of curiosity and kept observing Wu Yu's body of the devouring heaven. Wonderful! I have never seen such a magical clone since I grew up. Your inheritance of the great sage equaling heaven is really amazing. Although it is still a little worse than my martial Tianpeng, the gap is definitely not as big as I and you imagine. Wu Yu was too lazy to listen to his useless words, and he calmed down. In order to meet the next exciting challenge, he focused all his attention on improving his ability. With 1 million Dao Yuan Shen pills in hand, Wu Yu is now very rich. He doesn't need to save at all. He swallows these Dao Yuan Shen pills directly. In the Purple Mansion Sea, the medicinal power of the Dao Yuan Shen pills, part of it condenses the Yuan Shen, and part of it makes the sea water in the Purple Mansion Sea more majestic and powerful. His Purple Mansion Yuanli increased rapidly. Under the nourishment of a large number of Dao Yuan Shen pills, he impacted the second level of the Yuan Shen realm and became much stronger. At the same time, the main Yuan Shen is also stronger. It is about equivalent to the 9th level of the Yuan Shen realm. Only such a Yuan Shen can exist, which means that if the conditions are right, Wu Yu's swallowing body can enter a new realm and can be perfectly controlled. But when Wu Yu came out of the Yinhuan Sea prison, he was under the huge pressure of more than 800,000 people. At that time, his fearless state of mind made his Dao grow vigorously. Now that he has grown to a new realm, he can easily enter the second level of the Yuan Shen realm. This is what he deserves, and it is a natural harvest. The remaining Dao Yuan Shen pills were basically divided among his 10,000 lawless clones. These lawless clones consumed too many Dao Yuan Shen pills. Wu Yu had just upgraded them to the limit, and the Dao Yuan Shen pills in his hand were once again emptied. Imagine that in the future, his lawless clones will continue to become stronger, and there will even be more than 100,000 or even millions of clones. At that time, those elixirs and immortals will not be enough. What he needs is cultivation resources, and there are still a lot of them. In comparison, the ancient country of Yanhuang is indeed a place where more cultivation resources can be obtained. The millions of Dao Yuan Shen pills have been consumed, and Wu Yu has successfully transformed into a new realm. The next step is the most critical, which is to control the Beiming Emperor K. Congratulations, you have reached a new realm. Nanshan Wanjiao was not in a hurry at this time. During this period of time, he was mainly observing Wu Yu's various methods in secret. However, Wu Yu was only upgrading his realm during this period, so he could not see anything. It was Wu Yu who fed the lawless clones that scared him. In order to suppress and sacrifice Beiming Emperor K, Wu Yu needs to mobilize two souls this time, that is, the body plus the body of devouring heaven. These two souls are one. Moreover, the soul of the body of devouring heaven is also his body. Although he is facing Beiming Emperor K, Wu Yu still has enough confidence.